Hello again. In today's video I'm going to show how to create a menu system. So let me click on play here and I will show you what it looks like and then how I did it. So now when I hit play, we do not see the ship, although we do see the hull and the gas nanochips and the battery. So if I were to click on play game, we would jump right into play. There is a help menu which shows a set of instructions, 1, 2, 3, 4, A and S. Notice how this done button is the width of the whole menu. So I'm going to show how that works. I'm going to click on done and it takes me back to the main menu. And then I also have a credits which is blank right now, and quit does not work in this play mode, only in the executable. So I'm going to click on play. Now I'm going to hit escape to bring up the pause menu. If I click on main menu, it goes back and actually resets all of these values because it reloads level 1 again, and in my start function I initialize everything. So that quits the game. Help here goes to the same help menu, and when I hit done it comes back to the pause menu. So that's very important. I'll show how that works. Ship upgrades. I have a little bit of overlap here with the cost. Basically this screen, this menu is a work in progress because I need to get some other values on here, but I'm going to show you how to create these buttons to all line up, the text in these columns to line up. I have blank values up here, but for the hull and the battery I actually pull these values from the ship script. I'll show you how we do that. And then notice how this done button is a different size. If it were the width of the whole menu, it would go nearly across the whole screen. So that is the menu system I want to show. Maybe I will shoot down a couple enemies here, grab a power up. Okay, so you can see my gas and now chips are 1. Hit escape. Main menu resets these values. Okay, so let's get out of the play and head over to the display script. I have 2 variables for the menu. One is the menu that I'm on. The other is previous menu, which is the menu that I came from. So I will need that like in the case of the help menu. Then I have a whole bunch of variables that keep track of how big my buttons are, how wide the menus are. I have like these menu width and height, help width and height, and then for the upgrade screen I have a whole bunch more variables, and then a text width here so that all my columns are the same on the upgrade screen. So when the game starts, the display controls where the game basically starts off paused. So the very first thing that happens is I set time scale equal to 0, my game menu to 0, and then I initialize all these size variables. So let me show you what I have here. So the update now used to just pause the game and then continue the game if it was already paused. So now it's a little bit different because I don't want to hit escape from the main menu and jump into the game. So I have to handle that. So basically let's think of, we've already started the game, and hit escape to bring up the pause menu. So what it does now is it says, okay, if time scale is 1, meaning we're playing the game, then I want to set time scale to 0 to pause it, and then I want to jump to menu number 2. I'll show you that below. And then the so if you hit escape and the time scale is not 1, then we come down in here into the else, and it checks to see which menu we're on. If we are on the pause menu, which is number 2, then it basically turns time scale back to 1 and we get out of the menu system. Now I could have some more complicated calls in here where if I'm on any of the deeper menus and I hit escape, it jumps out 1. I don't have that in here now, but that can be handled through the escape button, which I think would be really cool. So down here in the onGUI function, all the display stuff is the same as before, showing the graphics for the battery and the hull and the power-ups that you've picked up. So I've changed or added some more stuff down here in this if statement for if the game is paused. So this is, again, this is the onGUI function, and this part only runs when timescale is 0, when I want my menus to show up. In the case of the main menu, like at the beginning of the game, game menu is 0, and I want to create a large area. That's done with GUILayout.BeginArea. And then you have to have an accompanying EndArea, so I just type both up at the same time and fill everything else in between. So then you just give the area a rectangle size. So here I give it the screen width over 2 minus the menu width over 2, etc. And this gets my menu in the center of the screen. Then we get the 4 buttons that I showed: play game, help, credits, and quit. So the let's see, when you hit play game, it just sets timescale equal to 1, basically getting me out of the menu system. The help button says, alright, I want you to take me to game menu number 1, but I want you to remember the menu I came from, so the previous menu is 0 here, the main menu. So let's go down here to the instructions or the help screen. So again, I have an area here, GUILayout.BeginArea and EndArea, and I like to tab over everything in between so that I know visually that it's separated in my mind. So I just have a whole bunch of label calls here. So I have instructions, then I have a GUILayout.space and some value in here which I call button space, and then I just have all these labels just sending in some text for the player to read. So just showing to push 1 through 4 for weapons, A and S for the special powers right now, and I can change all this later as I keep adding stuff. And then at the end, I want to have a GUILayout button, and remember this is the one where the done button was the whole width of the area. So you do that when you are in an area, and or a GUILayout area I should say, and I call GUILayout.button. So there is a different way to do it to get a different size of button, like on the upgrade screen. Okay, going down to the pause menu now. Oh, so anyway, when I hit done, the game menu gets set to previous menu. And because I can get to the help menu from different places, I have to keep track of where I came from. So that's how I handle it. I think it's a good way. Alright, so now the pause menu. I begin a new area, and I set the size, and it's a different set of variables than the other menu. So I did that on purpose. And here we have the continue, the ship upgrades, help, and main menu. So continue, again, remember when we are in the menu system, timescale is 0. So all I have to do is set timescale back to 1, turn the music back on, and we're back in the game. If I click on ship upgrades, then I need to remember the menu that I came from because it has a done button. And I want to go to game menu 3, which is for the upgrades. Then you'll notice I have these GUILayout spaces in between here. So if I ever want to change the spacing, I only have to change one value, the button space, and everything spreads out accordingly. So I can go to help. Previous menu is 2 now because I'm in the pause menu, and it takes me to game menu 1. And then if I hit main menu, it reloads the level. And remember, I take care of all the initializations in start, so that's how I can reload the same level even when I'm already in it. Okay, so here's the upgrade menu. I have a GUILayout area again. Now I have a whole bunch of begin horizontals. So in a horizontal, I basically create the size of all of my columns. And for example, the first column I want to be a blank because this is the column where all the plus buttons are. So I don't want to have a text there, but I do want it to be the same as the width of the button, so I call it upgrade button width. And then I have a whole bunch of these columns, weapon, damage, and stuff. So I want all those to be text width. Now whatever these are here for my columns, I need to make sure that they're all the same down here for all of the rows that I have text on or show values. So you'll notice that this next BeginHorizontal has upgrade button width for the GUI layout width, and that was the same as this GUI layout width up here, or else they won't all line up in columns. You'll have something shifted over. Okay, so right now I have a whole bunch of blanks here for standard, durable, ion cannon, and laser beam. I will have to fill those in when I start balancing these numbers, and also have some kind of cost associated with upgrading the guns. So now I go down to another area. So I call GUILayout.space and I give it an upgrade button gap. I could do like a few calls to upgrade button width or something like that, but I chose to have a different variable. So again, I have a blank space here, and then with the width of upgrade button width, and then I have these headers here, so energy, value, and stuff. So then going down, I have a plus again for the upgrade button, and then I call this one whole. And instead of having a blank here, I already know what value I want to show in this position. It is the max life on the ship. So it's a static variable, so I just need to call ship.maxLife, and it's an integer or a float. So all I have to do is use the member function to string, and it casts it into a string so that I can send it into this layout label. Okay, so the same thing down here with the battery, ship.maxBattery.toString, and so on. Alright, then at the bottom of this screen, I am not using a GUI layout button, so I actually don't need to have this layout, this GUI layout.BeginHorizontal here. I could just call GUI.button, create the rectangle wherever I want the done button to show up, and then this done sets the game menu back or equal to the previous menu wherever I came from. Alright, so that's how I set up the menus in this game, and I have more stuff to add, but I definitely wanted to show how to create the menus, how to make the spaces, and everything line up.